Welcome to yet another piece of lecture in operations management. Up to this point, we've been able to look at a number of topics, and I hope you are able to relate how they apply to what we are talking about. In today's lecture, we will further look at the interrelationship between product and the process life cycle. In our previous lecture, we were able to look at what the process life cycle is, and since the time we started, we've actually looked at some, some important concepts on what a product is, and steps in which you can actually be able to undergo as you develop the product. Today, we're going to begin on the point of planning for growth. Okay, so our lecture today is going to be engulfed within the system or the concept of growth. How do you attain growth? As the operations manager, how do you manage the operations with the goal of reaching at growth? Okay, now, we know that companies typically pursue four types of growth. Okay, going from the simpler types to the more complex, and these can be summarized as one. We've got what we call simple growth of sales volume within an existing product line and market. So simple growth, okay, simple growth. Okay, now what is simple growth? Okay, so these are some of the things that we'll look at as we go further. However, we're saying that for now, we're saying that um, they are among the types of growth that the companies would ever have. There is what? Simple growth. Then the second one is expansion of the product line within a single market using an existing process structure, okay, which is often called product proliferation. Okay, product proliferation. Okay, product proliferation. Okay, now the third one is the expansion of the process structure. Okay, this usually termed vertical integration. You know what vertical integration is. We are able to look at what vertical integration is. We indicated that actually vertical integration is actually the steps or the procedures that a company has for for its product and services. Okay, you can further go ahead and Google it or maybe check it through our previous notes. However, we'll break it down further. Okay, expansion into new products and market. Okay, expansion into new products and market. So these are among the four types of growth. Okay, so we attend the growth in those. Now we're saying while other forms of growth exist, they can generally be viewed as variations or combination of these four types. Okay, so we are saying all the types that exist, they are sourced from the four types that we've looked at. Okay, now thus, an understanding of the demands that each might place on manufacturing and marketing can do much to aid in planning for continued condition or focus of these functions. Now, simple growth. What is simple growth? Simple. This is the simple form of growth consisting of an increased volume that is met with an existing product line and existing product process. This type of growth opportunity requires that extremely stable conditions exist in terms of competitors, technology, and market tests, with only change occurring in the size of what? Of the market. Okay. So as you can see, we are looking at we are looking at a certain type of production where it has got an increased volume from one time to the other. Okay, now uh, mostly it requires that there is an a stable, okay, it requires that there's a stable condition in which the products are produced, okay. Competitors, technology, and market tests. So of course market test, you would actually talk about having a stable number of people or customers for the business. Of course, even competitors are known, okay, as well as the technology. Now, unfortunately, such conditions are the exception rather than the rule, and thus, even when a company limits itself to fairly narrow products and process activities, periodic changes will be required as markets and technologies mature. In the context of a single product line and single process structure, incremental changes in each reflect a type of simple growth. Okay. However, the company must now make two kinds of decisions in such kind of a case. Okay. The first relates to both the entrance and the exit strategies for a specific market, and the second is to what is the second to the strategy to be pursued while the company is participating in that market. Okay. Now, of course, as we do this, uh, these two decisions are very, very important. The first decision that the first decision that the first decision that the company has to make is, or the first one, we are saying the first decision is what? It relates to both the entrance and the exiting what? Strategies. Meaning that here, we are talking about how then are you able to enter into the business. Of course, I mean, into the market. You have a certain product, okay, you've got certain products. Now those products, you need to have a way in which you're going to enter the market as well as leave the market. Okay, that is decision number one. And the second, it is to look for a strategy to be pursued while the company is participating in the market. Now, as you are participating in the market, what strategies are you going to undertake or to carry on for you to survive in that market? Okay. Certain markets are very complex in terms of standing. You find that a person would go there with their products, and in the long run they fail to hold and exit the market without what? Without reaching the goal. Why? Because of the challenges that they may be faced whilst the business is in the given market. Now, to do this, we are saying the matrix concept is useful for examining and planning for both of these. Okay, now we're going to use what we call the matrix concept. Now, the matrix concept is a concept that we looked at, and we will continue exploring from now going forward. Okay, now let's look at the entrance exit strategies. Entrance exit strategies. Now, in the first area, the company tends to follow one of the four entrance exit strategies. Okay, in summary, the company has to one, okay, which is A. This is the first step. Enter early, and then when technology stabilizes, profit margins narrow, and the larger companies follow strategy C, begin to appear. Okay, it leaves that product and attempts to exploit the company's superior flexibility and technology skills in the introductory phase of some new product. So here, the secret to this the secret to this is about entering the market early. Okay, entering early. Okay, entering the market early. So when the technology stabilizes, of course, profit margin will narrow. Of course, in economics, we say that we normally say that when the business, every business makes huge profit or abnormal profit in the first phases. Okay, for instance, if um, there is a booming market for, or there's a huge demand for tomato. All right, there's a huge demand for tomato. Now that tomato, what will happen is that more people, if the prices increase for tomato, more people are going to want to try to get into the market. Okay, now as those people are trying to get into the market, So now, the businesses that are currently in that tomato market are going to make abnormal profit. Okay, they can actually make 50 percent profit, or they can make 100% profit. Okay, so that means that if one is selling a tomato at one tomato at maybe $1, okay, they are going to actually sell it. They can actually even sell it at maybe $2, okay, to gain, and meaning that they are gaining a one a 100% profit. Okay, now as the market, as the market, so meaning that those people that are already in the market are going to make a lot of profit. Now, as technology stabilizes, meaning that as more people or more producers, are getting attracted, they are going to start finding ways of getting into the tomato market. And as more people or more producers are getting into the market, the profit will be shared. The profit now will spread. Okay, the profit will spread, and they'll begin making what a normal profit. Okay, meaning the supernormal profits have been what have been shared. Okay, now that's what we mean when we say the profit margins what will narrow and the larger companies follow the strategy C, okay, will begin to appear. Okay, now B, enters early and grows up with the industry, seeking to be a major factor in the business throughout the product entire life cycle. Okay, so enter early and grows up with the industry. Okay, seeking to be a major factor in the business. Now, here we're talking about we are maintaining with the point of entering early. Okay, the problem is the difference that is in these 2 points A and B is that in the first place we talked about sharing the profit margins, okay, or the profit margins will narrow. Then going to the second one, we're talking about the grow the industry, meaning that as you make profit, you need to reinvest into the industry so that as other producers are seeking their way into entering the market, your business will have achieved certain certain levels. Okay, the business will have okay, this will have achieved certain levels. Now, C, waits on the sideline until some degree of product and process stabilization has occurred, and then enter the industry so that it can better exploit its more massive production, distribution, and marketing resources. Here, of course, we are talking about, okay, here, of course, we're talking about entering, waiting. At some point, you may choose to wait until the degree of product process stabilizes, meaning that more people enter and, there is some stabilization. Okay, once the market stabilizes, it can actually give you more, insight and more exploitation in the what in the with regards to the massive production that one may wish to undertake. D, choice D was saying waits to enter, anticipating that it is following strategy C. Okay, but when it does enter, fails to gain sustainable market position and consequently choose to withdraw without having made an adequate return on its what investment. So as you look at C, okay, as you look at C, of course, C may be a bit may not be too productive because as you are wait to observe how the market is operating, you are losing out. So D is adding on to say when you enter after doing C, when you wait, you find that when you enter the time that you enter the market, already more people or more producers will have exploited some opportunities, and you'll be left with nothing. As you enter the business, you find that you may actually leave earlier than you entered, and as a result, you may fail to achieve your objective. Now, further, we are saying that in exhibition of this, okay, as it is shown in the exhibit 2. Let's go to exhibit 2. Okay, earlier we in our earlier lectures we looked at exhibit 1 and we looked at its dynamics. Now here we're looking at the exhibit 2. Okay, the four segment of the product market dimension of the matrix can be used to form a Latin square representing the combination of entrance and exiting strategies available to a company. So here we're talking about exiting and entering what? Strategies. Okay. Now, let's look at this. So we're talking about entrance strategy, okay, strategy. So of course, entrance strategy, we've got rapid growth and startup. So we've got down there on exit strategy, we've got maturity and decline. So on maturity, we're talking about D, okay, where you make mistakes, okay. Then on decline, so on that is on rapid growth. Of course, on rapid growth, you find that you make actually a lot of mistakes. That is on the exiting strategy. So on entrance, you've got a rapid growth, okay. As you enter, there is rapid growth, okay. And of course, before you exit, you'll find that you'll have learned a number of things, okay, including mistakes that were encountered and other things, okay. So mistakes, we're talking about D, point D, having to wait for a long time for you to enter into the market in a with a quest of trying to exploit. Then C, we're talking about decline. Okay, efficient, standardized, high volume. Okay, then startup, we're talking about innovation and flexibility. Um, starts flexible. So here on D, on B, we're saying starts flexible, shift to standardized and high volume. Okay, so this is the exhibit two. So we're talking about rapid growth. Okay, rapid growth as the first. Then where we are talking about exit strategy, we're talking about these four matrices that are here. Of course, startup, you need to have what? High levels of what? Of flexibility for business to stand out. Okay, so you can actually exploit further on that point. Until relatively recently, strategy B was considered the normal or most desirable, while A and C were example of either lost, okay, either lost or accidents, respectively. The model of a successful company was one that developed a new product that became the basis for a major industry and then rode on its back to success. But such strategy can put an enormous strain on company, particularly when its industry matures rapidly. The same people who manage the introduction of the new product may be called on to manage its evolution into what? A commodity item. Now, the type of a production process, the level of capital intensity, the marketing skills, the distribution channels, in fact, the whole personality of the company must undergo profound change in the space of relatively few years. Okay. Now, strategy C is particularly favored by large national or multinational companies whose production system emphasize high stable volume and low as well as variable what costs. Okay, so when we talk about variable costs, we're talking about costs that can change. For instance, when we talk about electricity bills, those are variable costs. Salaries of workers, those are variable costs because they can vary with time. You can't give a person, for instance, you can't give your employee a $2,000 every month for a long time. No. Okay, it changes. These companies can exploit their large sales forces, distribution channels, advertising expertise, and overall market clout. Okay, and they have easy access to capital markets for the funds required by the scale and capital intensity of their mode of competition. Now, although strategy A is still regarded largely as a strategy for the little guys, okay, although strategy A is still regarded as largely as a strategy for the little guys, it is becoming increasingly attractive to companies that prefer not to compete in high volume, low margin businesses, and to many highly diversified companies whose managers look on their job as one of the managing portfolio of assets. Now, the managers of such companies are willing to use the cash flow from mature products at the end of their product life cycle to finance the growth and the success of products or subsidiaries in early stages and to liquidate such products. And often, they are associated companies entirely when they can no longer meet the company's what? Profitability goals. Now, strategy C in conclusion is indicated that it is indicating that it is only used when entering the late and leaving early is probably never pursued internationally, since there is no sufficient time to reap the rewards necessary to justify the initial investment. Nevertheless, this strategy is seen from time to time as illustrated by the experience in the calculators of Rockwell International. Okay, so in conclusion or in summary, okay, in summing up the whole entire lecture, okay, in summing up the entire lecture, we are saying that we have four type type of decisions or growth strategies that are used by companies, which is simple growth, okay, expansion of product line within a single market, expansion of the process structure, as well as expansion into new products. So here we're basically talking about how are you able to penetrate the market? At what point are you able to choose a business and be able to enter into the market? Okay. Then further, simple we looked at simple growth and we understood what simple growth is. Then we looked at the entrance and exiting strategies. Now you need to know when to start, when to enter into the market and when to leave the market. Okay, of course, one of the big signs is that of entrance is that one, they should do what, good profit and good market what, market base. Okay, there should be a good market base, that is one sign, as well as the profit. Okay, there should be demand. Demand is actually a sign of good marketing or good market. Okay, that is first sign number one to enter into a business. Then exiting strategy, one of the major exiting strategies is the encountering of what losses. If you begin to encounter losses, or if you begin to if you begin to make it even, where you don't make any profit at all, you're just working for salaries for workers, then it means that it is a high sign that you need to find ways of exiting the market. Okay, so if that is clear, please study your notes, study these notes very well as we look at achieving more in our next lectures, as we'll be looking at unit 2, as we'll be beginning to exploit other areas of unit 2 and other topics. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next lecture. Goodbye.